Satu Day, what's happening, y'all? Back in the shop. Shoot a little picture of the king. Got the fairing off. Put the other bags back on it. Not that y'all care, but it's that time of year here. Spring sprung, right? Like everybody's feeling good. We just got done lifting. My old lady hit 225 for 2 bench press. Like, I get if you're a guy, you can bench 225. How many of you guys' wives can bench 225 for a set of 2? That's pretty badass, man. I'm pretty proud of Hot Rod. She's kicking ass. But we all go up and down, like, you know, as you're getting around our age, like lifting heavy. It really don't make sense. Why we do it still, I don't know. It's just pastime fun, I guess. I don't know. So I was able to slip in the machine shop, do a couple mods. I'm gonna slip them videos in. I don't know, somewhere in this video, I'll edit those in. But basically it's going over the Project X and that Guardian 3, which I'm pretty sure for both of those right now. For right now, anyhow, I'm done with it, but I like to get you guys feedback. So if you got feedback, please let me know. And then I started working on another sawtooth, and y'all have seen this. Y'all have seen these scales before, so that's the scale I had JD do in the backspacer that kind of blend in. And I decided to reprofile a knife to make it a clip point and kind of go with this whole theme. I don't know if you may or may not have remembered this knife if you've watched the channel long enough, but this is the one that used to have that rounded nose. It was kind of chipped at the nose when I got it years and years ago. And excuse me, I bought and sold this knife a couple times already. I don't know why I'm even thinking about doing this, but this is the sort of what's rolling around in my head with this one anyhow. So I've reprofiled into a clip point, and you can see the backbone now as we're talking. Lighting kind of sucks out here. I might have to go back into the shop, show you all a little better of a quality, but maybe I'll do a close up here in a minute. But this is sort of the game plan with this one. I think I'm gonna finish doing what I want to with it, and then maybe put it up for like sale. But like, I know a lot of people want a sawtooth. I just don't know if this is everybody's flavor of a sawtooth. So I may do it like, who does that? Is that Jamie from Blades and EDC or Pocket Priorities? Somebody that also does YouTube. I heard it on theirs, which I thought was a cool idea. Is that if you want to buy this, just put in the comments, and then we'll have a lottery for the people who all want to buy it. How about that? I'm thinking $450 for this. The reason I'm thinking $450 is the cheaper end of sawtooths at this point, let's say $300, plus the scale and the backspacer. And what I'll do is, if you want the original scale that I had on it, which was this one, that'll give you, I don't know if I can hold it kind of sort of better. That'll kind of give you the original look of how I had it originally. And it still, I think still looks good there. So you'll get this scale, it's 2, and then I'll throw in a G10 backspacer, black G10 backspacer. I'm not really sure how to finish this one because I want it to go with both scales on this side. So I don't want to do that whole burnt finish like I did on the, well, y'all see on that Guardian, but I want to do something different. So I may just like do a heavy stone wash or something. I don't know, because right now it's just blasted. I don't know, the lighting sucks in here, so I may have to take it in the shop and do something with it. But there are the cat room there. But anyway, there you go. It's a thought process. Y'all let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the clip point and that style blade. I think it kind of looks cool with that sharp. I just wish the sharp was on this side too. I always have. That's probably why I always sell it. Like, I like symmetry, and I like that. Even the scale wise, I would almost wish that I had sent the whole knife to get JD to anodize both of them at the same time, but it is what it is. Done and over with, and we're gonna work with what we got, right? So let me know what y'all think about that idea. I kind of sort of thought about that. And the price wise, if y'all like, dude, you're out of your mind for $450, let me know. But if you think that's a fair price for what I'm doing with it, let me know. I told y'all last week, was it last week? I think it's last week when I told you I think it was, when I got the Project X that Brother Mitch, and I really do appreciate it, Mitch, sent me the Ohio River Jack. So this little slip joint, and I hadn't really posted no pictures of it, but it's been with me just about every day. And I just kind of wanted to see what I'd feel like carrying a little slip joint to see if I like it. It's not the fidget part of you at all. Like, for me, like most of the little smaller knives, and I'll just use my actual carry today. You know, if I'm fidgeting with something, I like it. Normally it'd be a smaller knife, right? But let's just say it's something like this, because I have used this for a fidget since I've got it. And thanks again, Steve Clare. You know, I use the smaller knives generally as a fidget kind of thing, and mostly kind of in the vehicle, or, you know, while I'm, I just have to say, bored, or, you know, waiting or whatever else. I can't really just sit here and fidget with a slip joint. It don't really work for me as far as that. It don't quench that part of me. But as far as like needing a little knife for a little task that you ain't worried about, like, it works well. So this is what I've got to kind of go off of as far as like my baseline. And I've heard from several people, like I've asked JD a couple times because he's had a couple of videos on knives and stuff like that. And I've watched some of Mitch's older videos and stuff about some of the other slip joints he has. And it just seems like this is a good baseline for a lot of people. I know the Jack Wolf's is supposed to be that kind of like that next step above as far as like modern classics, what they call them, which I guess is, from my understanding, is more or less just the materials used, not necessarily the pattern or the style. But I like a lot of the Jack Wolf designs, but as you guys all know, this is made in China and all the Jack Wolfs are made in China. So yeah, I would like to check out a Jack Wolf. I'll probably end up borrowing one from somebody, but as far as like actually buying it, I don't want to kind of go down that road. I might, just to check one out, like buy one used or something just to check out, but I don't know. So anyway, I asked last week if anybody had suggestions, and I'm an idiot because I didn't remember until someone actually told me, and I'm just going to put it this way, y'all can read it. So hopefully you can read that text in there. Let's see if it comes in there. Hopefully you can read it. Made in the United States of America. Some of you guys already know what this is. Other people are like, you're an idiot already, Dave. You're buying more slip joints. Yes, I know I'm an idiot already. And I knew when Mitch sent that one that I would buy more. So y'all probably did too. But yeah, I'm an idiot because Medford makes one. This is the Gentleman Jack. Yes, this is impulse buy. And yes, Aaron is one that alerted me to the thing being for sale. And yeah, I didn't even think about it. I just bought it. But I did want to see it. I did want to check it out and get a feel for it. And like, you know, I'm not a slip joint guy. This is going to be fun. Hang on a second. But if this is walk and talk, this is tiptoeing so your wife don't hear you go bathroom at night. This is like, it's not even comparable. It is just such a different action. So like, what's more desirable for classic people, I would say, would be this guy right here. Like, being that I'm not really a slip joint kind of guy and I'm kind of just dipping my toes in the water and kind of experiment with it, this don't bother me at all. But this is a way different feeling knife, completely different feeling knife than that Ohio River Jack. Interestingly enough, well, I think it's interesting. Maybe you guys don't, but the blade stock is about the same on both these guys. So could this be made to be beefier like this guy? I believe it probably could. Have I ever opened a slip joint before? Nope. Am I gonna open these and investigate to see if I can make it thicker? Yep. So yeah, you got it. I'm that idiot that's probably gonna end up taking a couple $100 Medford, $300 Medford, or whatever these things cost. New. I'm not even sure what they cost new. And yeah, I probably modify it because I'm just that guy. But I may not. I ain't decided. The lanyard thing, like on this traditional, like I get that you're supposed to have some form of tradition. I don't know what pattern this is supposed to emulate or anything like that, or if it's just supposed to be a modern take of whatever Medford thought a classic knife should be, but I ain't getting classic vibes on this one at all. None. Especially with that lanyard loop hanging out there. So if it stays like it is, in other words, if I don't change the scales and do some other stuff, I'm definitely going to modify that, because that lanyard thing is, I know, Bearded Doom, sorry bro, I know you'd keep it, Kevin, but you know, like for the rest of us, the lanyard things are kind of a waste. And I think I heard Mitch say, if you can't get all 4 fingers on it, that's when the lanyards kind of make sense. And this Ohio River Jack is just big enough to get all 4 fingers on. I ain't gonna say it's excess room, but it's enough. You can get it in your whole hand. Like it ain't, you ain't doing no crazy tacks with a slip joint anyhow. And I kind of sort of think the same way, like going by that standard, you kind of think the same way with this one, because it's longer. You can get your whole hand on it. It's not, it doesn't give you as much purchase, like as much grip to hold on to as that Ohio River Jack. So that part I like way better about the Ohio River Jack. But yeah, it's a weird sound, but this does have some things going for it that one doesn't. So this is hand ground, hollow ground. So you get those cool grind lines like all Medfords have in them. I don't know whether people do or don't care about that kind of stuff, but to me, I kind of geek out on that stuff. I dig it. And the nail nick is definitely more crisp, and like you get more grip to get in there and get it. Just kind of works. I don't know, like, will it matter in the long run? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm a slip joint guy. I just kind of, I knew when Mitch got me this one and gave me this one, I knew that I was going to go down that road. I got to explore a little bit. And I thought about tactile turn, and I've heard and seen reviews, tactile turns. I just don't think it's my flavor. Like, it seems like it's way too thin, and you know, action-wise, people say there's issues with action-wise, and I guess there's some heat treat issues, which I guess probably people would probably say about Medford too, but none of that really matters to me. While we're talking about heat treat, I'm just going to jump into it real quick. Told y'all I was going to be all over the place. So now that I've had this Project X for a minute. I just want to kind of touch base on this, okay? So I've got a couple chips out of the blade, and I don't know if you're going to be visually be able to see them or not, but there is a couple little chips in this blade. And so actually, who was that was asking about that? I can't remember who. I think it was Billy, actually. Mapex Alchemy was asking me about that. And he was asking about steel, like especially in the bruisers. And I know you guys heard me say it before, that especially in the Satos, that I prefer this S30 over the 20 CV. Why is that? It doesn't chip nearly as much as that 20 CV to me. Like, some guys lay their edge way back to get a nice thin and slicing. And if that's what you do with your knife, that's perfect. The slip joints, 100%. Like, I think that's probably the smarter way of doing things. I'm just a heathen, honestly, man. I don't even know how I even chipped the damn thing. But it got chipped, and I don't know if it's a factory edge or not. Obviously I bought this used from Mitch, and I don't really know what he did through it, but I just know from my uses, which has only been a week and a half, and yeah, I'm not gentle on knives, and I don't like make sure what underneath it's not gonna hurt it. No, I just use them. Like they get used. I bought this to use it, so yes. 100% it did chip. 100% needs new edge put on it. And I do like S45, and usually it's less chippy than what it is. I'm hoping it's just maybe like at the edge of it where they sharpen it with the belt. We'll see. But anyway, to go into kind of that sort of slant of, like I did that, the whole slant of what steels. On bruisers, I want a tougher steel. I don't care necessarily about the edge retention. And I guess probably edge retention is probably last, because ultimately it kind of boils down to me to like the tough, and then the durability as far as rust and stuff, which I kind of iffy on that one too. But like edge retention is just like one of the factors down the road for me on a bruiser. Like on a small knife, I think it makes way more sense to kind of sort of worry about stuff like that. But that's just my opinion of it. So I don't know, throwing it out there, see what y'all throw back at me, see what we can kind of discuss. Oh, Wes wants to make an appearance. Come here, big guy. You want to say hey to the people? Say hey to the peoples. So what's up, peoples? Come here. What's up, peoples? What's up, peoples? All right. All right, so I'm going to edit those videos in, throw them in here probably after this, because I don't know, why not? But I hope y'all have a good week. If you want to stay around, watch the other stuff, cool. Appreciate it. Y'all be cool. See you next week. Later. This is Project X in the middle of the mods, and you can see I got the thumb studs on there. I got them as high to the backbone as I can get it. Both sides. You see it's pretty high up. I don't think I can get much higher than that. It's got a little bit more room. It could have moved back. You see I got that much clearance right there in that horn. That's where the clearance issues are going to come intact. So I could have moved it, further that way a little bit more to get it a little further out of the cutting path, but it didn't make sense as far as the deployment. So it's a little bit slightly in the cutting path, but you have to be way back here and kind of doing some funky stuff. But so you can see for deployment, it's kind of more of a natural right there where you want to be, kind of coming into it. Makes the Project X feel like it should. Same thing in the back. Obviously the back doesn't have the ramp in, but you can just get on the back and do it. I can't really show you in video because it's awkward position. So how did I do this? I basically just took a end mill, a drill mill, and drilled through it 1/8 of an inch, and then counterbored each side 1/4 inch, because I wasn't really 100% sure what studs I'm going to use. So I'm just going to screw in one of them. And then this is all tie connector hardware. So if you buy their stud 256 studs as well, you can see what I did right here in the blade. I'm going to push out the other one, but you see I just drilled through the, and then just counterbored it. I did the same thing on both sides, just a 40 thou counterbore, basically so that the load of this thumb stud is not taking it on the screw, it's taking it on the side of that thumb stud, so that it's got full strength. That's the reason I did it the way I did it. Yeah, you could have done it differently. That's just the way I decided to do it today. When I got to the machine shop, I didn't really have I didn't really know for sure if this was a stud I wanted to keep, and that's kind of why I did it. Because if you go to Tie Connector's website and look, they sell them in several different sizes, but the ones I generally gravitate towards are all the 1/4 inch size. And I'm having trouble throwing this back in because big fingers and little parts. I may have to, there it goes. I may have to get some spectacles on to get that in there, but I'm just showing you for what it is right now. Obviously it's not finished. Like, I'm going to refinish the whole stud and everything, but there's more mods coming, so I figured I'd just stop right here. And the other thing I thought about doing was doing a fuller to kind of follow the shape of that. I guess it's called more or less a poon right there. that little scoop spot. I was gonna make a fuller, like extend it straight through here, and then fuller out and copy that line, just offset in. I was gonna do that, but the more I mess with it, and you still can on this knife, get down here and flick it. So you still can do it. You just don't have a whole lot of traction. So if you're wet or something, you're not going to get in there. But the stud, the way it is, just seemed to make more sense to me. So that's Project X for now. Quick little video. All right then. All right, it's a couple days later. It's the Project X again. So I just refinished that stud. Just basically wanted to show you that stud. It's that same stud. I did blast it, and then I just relieved it just a little bit on the edges to kind of give it a little distressed look. Kind of goes with the knife a little better now. Don't clash quite as much as it did before with it super shiny. But you know, it's been a couple days. I've used the knife a good bit. I don't think I'm going to do the fuller. I think I'm going to keep it with just the stud right now. But I think next is going to be, well, I don't know how close to next, but the next thing for this knife anyhow is going to be titanium scales, and I'll probably end up doing a backspacer too. This whole tool thing here, I mean, if that's your jam, then more power to you. It's just not really my thing. And quite honestly, like the hardware on the scales doesn't look that great to me. So I thought about when I make my scale, I'll probably just use different hardware on this side. This side will have to stay the same, which I don't mind that hex heads on this side. For some reason, it kind of gives me old ZT vibes, and I kind of like it. But the other hardware that's in this side, not too fond of it. So I'll probably end up doing a backspacer and new hardware and titanium scale for this side. At least that's kind of sort of the game plan for now. Whether it actually gets executed anytime soon or not, probably not. But well, that's the game plan anyhow. All right, so next project that I wanted to show was Steve's G3F Guardian. I think that's what it is, G3F. And so this one also got studs and also got refinished on the scale. So there's a spin through both sides of it for you. I did have to rework the D10 on this one as well. But let's just talk about it first. So this one was flipper only. The flipper was ridiculously strong and super lock bar sensitive. I will report it's still pretty much lock bar sensitive. There's not a whole lot I can do with that. I can only do what I can do. It's less sensitive now, but it's still sensitive. But adding the studs helped a lot. And you can see right here, I had clearance. So just like I was showing you on that Project X, like I could have went just a hair higher to the backbone, but I was trying to make it work for deployment. So when the knife's closed, you don't have any ramp in on this side at all. So you want to be able to have enough space in here to get back in there with your thumb or finger rather and do it. And on this side, you want to have enough space for your thumb. So I could have, in retrospect, went a little bit higher, but I'm trying to keep the overall look so it kind of sort of looks like a stop pin on this position. And if I would have went higher, it would kind of look like it's floating above the scale, and it already kind of does a little bit. So I was kind of worried about how that was going to look. But basically, I could have went just a little bit closer that way, but I just don't think it would, from a deployment point of view, it would have been better up higher. I think it's where it is as much cheating that direction as I could have got it. But yeah, everything, I did retune the detent, and it does have a ton of lock bar pressure, so it's not drop shutting anymore. But it's definitely a different look now. Like it was really blingy before. Oh, by the way, Steve told me to refinish it. Don't think I just stripped the ano because I was some stupid ass motherfucker. I wanted to do what he asked me to do, which is strip it and do something different on it. So he actually asked me to do the same finish that was on the Squirrel, which is just that blast and tumble kind of finish. And if he doesn't like this, it's exactly what I'll do. So Steve, if you don't like it, you know how to get a hold of me. So that's pretty much what I come up with. This finish that's on this titanium, and you can also see the rest of the hardware, I just left gray, blasted, and a little bit tumbled, except for the thumb studs. Also did this treatment to it as well. So on this scale, all blasted, all tumbled, and then sanded in Scotch-Brites the flats, and then drenched in oil, flamed, and drenched back in the oil. So it's drenched and quenched in the oil. So forever known as Earl's Drenched and Quench. That's what I'm gonna call this finish. Earl's Drenched and Quench. So that's the finish for both these sides. I kind of digging this thing. I somewhat similar what I did to that Scout, the Shebrikoff Scout. Shit, I said it wrong. Sorry, Mitch. The Shebrikoff Scout that I showed y'all last week. And that's a similar type finish that I did, similar process, but I did this one a little bit differently with the heat. And I kind of like how this one looks. There's enough. It still looks kind of dark. It's got a little bit of color in it, but it's not like bang, like super bright. But anyway, functionality-wise, the only thing that I will say about the lock bars is there's not a whole lot else I can do from my knowledge now. If you know of another way to tune a lock bar to get it less lock bar sensitive, I'm all ears. But It's kind of hard on the thumb studs. I'm not gonna lie. Like you gotta wanna let it go. It's not difficult, but like my wife couldn't do it at all. I'd let her try it, and it wasn't happening for her. But she's also struggling with a flipper on this one, and to me, the flipper is super easy now. So Steve wants this one sent back to Grumpy. So as long as he likes everything that's done to it now, it's going to go to Grumpy Grunt, and Grumpy get to look at it again. The one other thing that I kind of sort of thought about doing, that, you know, I'm filming this before Sunday, so it may change, and if it does, you'll see it on Sunday, is the flat where the numbers and stuff are. So it covered up where it said Guardian, right, or this said G3F on this side. It said Guardian on that side. You kind of can see it. Let's see if I can bring it closer. See how was the writing right here? Pretty much had to drill through that on both sides. But anyway, on the flats, I thought about taking the flats and doing like a polished flat or a satin flat just to kind of break up the lines. But I don't know if there's enough flat there to actually make a difference. It's just going to be this little spot right here. The rest is just full flat ground, so you don't want to get up on this at all. So it would just be that little bit right here that's exposed. So I don't know if it's worth it or not. Like, kind of looks good the way it is to me. But, you know, chime in. Let me know what you think. If you like it the way it is, we'll send it back to Grumpy. Let Grumpy have his little look at it. And then hopefully it'll get back to you. You'll be able to check it out. But it's tuned the way I like it now, which is a lot of lock bar pressure. So it is going to be harder. But before it had slight bit of rock. And to me, the lock bar pressure just needed to be increased. All right. That's it for the Guardian. And it for now for the Project X. All right, so this is a little clip just to give you a better close-up of what's going on with this clip point there. So this is the Shark 2 clip point mod. So figure I'd give you guys a closer look at what's going on with it right now. Hopefully it's easier to see in this light than it was out there in the shop. Socks, you're gonna get yourself cut, big girl. I know. You're making a cameo. I know you got to every week. I know. All right, so there's the shark Sawtooth, the Sawtooth shark, whatever you want to call it, and this is the extra scale that I was telling you guys about, and the G10 backspacer for the original kind of setup, I guess. Not sure what I'm gonna do or not gonna do. We'll see, I guess, next week. But kind of gauge your interest. If you're interested in this project, you think this is something that you might be interested in pursuing, you got input on it, let me know. So we're going to throw this little edit in the end so you guys can see it better. Once again, hope you guys have a great week. See you next week. Later.